We got 10
seconds. You're allowed out.
Yeah, we need one of those.
Clappers.
Yeah.
Cut.
Are we ready for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Lead us out.
Huh?
Yep. Please have more. He said no.
Where'd he go? Oh, he won't care. He misses it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Call this evening's meeting to order, and we have an introduction this evening. Kurt?
Madam Mayor and City Council, I'd like to introduce Hayden Delmont. He's our new Public Works employee. Hayden coming down in Columbus, Kansas. He started out working on a farm, and then he got out of school. He went to work at the school district and building maintenance, general maintenance around the buildings there. Then he went to work as a plumber for a plumber down there, and had some experience in water, sewer, and septic systems and stuff. And he started with us May 24th. He's on our water and sewer department.
Okay. Well, welcome, Paola, but Kurt will find lots more for you. We know Kurt.
He's usually pretty good help.
Well, good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Good to see you, Kurt. Come
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
See you, pleasure. Okay. Move on to the consent agenda, which is items 1A through F. Does any council member have any questions in regard to any of these? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and authorize the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
Fail.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Aye. Shields.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Comments from the public? I don't see any. We have none that came in. Okay. Move on to new business, which is our audit items, and we're glad to have you here this evening, Harold, for the presentation of the audit. Thank you.
If you open the audit reports that you have, past the table of contents, we have the independent audit report, where we identify that we're doing the city, management responsibility, make sure the financial statements are fairly stated according to the Kansas Municipal Audit Accounting Guide, which is the statutory basis of the county. Our responsibility is to make sure we get enough evidence from confirmations, analytical reviews, and questionnaires, and that type of thing in order to give an opinion, which we do. At the bottom, this is a matter of public record, so the last two paragraphs on the page talk about the fact that the report's not in accordance with general accounting principles, which you're already aware of that, because you opted out of that. So this is for someone who's not familiar with the reports of cities in the state of Kansas. On the second page, second paragraph is our opinion on the financial statements in accordance with statutory basis of accounting. We do feel that they are fairly presented in all material respects in accordance with the Kansas Municipal Audit Accounting Guide. Quite a bit of the information under that particular guide is buried down in the supplementary information as far as detail goes. So we also have to give you an opinion on that, and we feel that all that information is fairly stated in order to come up with statement one, which is kind of a summary statement. In that information in the back is also the prior year, which we also audited, and we feel that financial information is also fairly stated in accordance with that municipal accounting audit guide. So we go to page 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. And we have the summary statements in which we show all of the funds But basically, to show, here's the unencumbered cash at the beginning of the year, here's receipts, here's the expenditures, here's the ending unencumbered cash. Second to last column over there adds back all the payables that are included in the expenses in order to come up with what the cash balance is at the end of the year. General fund showed a $72,000 increase. It is unencumbered cash. Funds like transit, gas tax, family aquatic center went down, as did the employee benefit. However, storm management went up, as well as special grants fund. The net result is that within your special revenue funds, special purpose fund, you only went down $2,000 over the year. Bond interest went up about $22,000. Capital projects went up the most. It went up $879,000. That's due to projects that are getting underway but haven't had the expenditures yet. So this will be one of those way down the next year, probably, unless there's another grant or something that comes along towards something else. Business funds, which is your utility funds and your treatment plants, it went up about $11,000 the year before. So overall, you went from $5,194,000 to $6,175,000. So you're up $981,000 compared to the year before. And we get into the footnotes next. The first ones basically talk about the city and how it does its accounting and how it does its budgetary process, what kind of funds it can have, and also gets into on page 9, cash and investments. One of the things that we're supposed to check for on this statutory basis is to make sure that your funds are adequately secured at the bank, and they were. They didn't have any issues there. It was either covered by FDIC coverage or it was covered by bank pledges securities against that. On page 10, we get into long-term debt, and overall your debt went down $1,395,000. But obviously you had the refunding series 2020 that brought in $4.1 million. But it was used to pay off a couple of the other bonds that you had, and the result was the payments were $5,000,005, so that's how we get down to $1,395,000 as a reduction in the debt for the year. The next column will give you an idea of when all that's due. I think the last one payment right now is sitting in 2032 or 33. Is when it's going to be paid off. Let's see, page, it actually starts on page 12, where it starts talking about other long-term obligations from operations. But what I wanted to kind of highlight was it's on page 13. And that is that under compensated absences, your vacation pay at the end of the year was sitting at $181,033. Your sick pay at 25%, which is what would be paid out, was sitting at $148,566. And then you had some additional things like COVID leave, comp time, personal days, and that type of thing. It was another $44,100. So overall, I mean, you're talking what, 320, almost 400,000, 350 anyway. And it just want to bring that up because they're not included in this report because they're considered long term. So all we're doing is footnote here that's out there. Okay, and it might be one of those things that you might want to start maybe looking at another fund that would be a special purpose fund that would put that some money into each year. The alternative is to make sure that as people are getting close to retirement, that you make sure you budget for the year that they're going to retire if they have a big amount coming due. Okay. On page 14, we get into defined benefit plans, your capers, and as I've told you in the past, the state wants to make sure that they don't have all the liability on their books, so they found a way to make sure that you guys share in the fund. That second to last paragraph shows that if If you were to book it, capers would be 1.6 million, almost 1.7. And the police and fire would be another 2 million. So huge numbers, but they're based upon the fact that persons here are going to stay here until they retire. When they retire, they're going to live exactly as long as what the people's actuarial say they're going to live, and they're going to have to pay out that much during that time, and then bringing that back to the today as a present value. So there's a lot of calculation for this and it's just a lot of guesswork, to be honest with you, as to what goes into that number. So the fact that you're going to have that kind of due one particular year is never going to happen. It's going to be over time. And obviously, the younger the individual, the longer that time is going to be that's in that program. So just something to kind of watch for. I do have one new footnote on page 15 dealing with COVID. And basically, it's just to let everybody know that cities as well as state, counties, school districts, everybody felt a real pinch because of COVID and had a dramatic effect on their operations. But there's no really way to necessarily show what that dollar amount's going to be or has been. So this is just telling those people that, yes, it happened. Yes, the city definitely had consequences because of it. But to try to put a dollar amount on it is a little tough to do. Get to page 18, we get to one of the other summary pages that's statutory base required, and that's showing your budget to actual. Look at that far column and make sure that everything has a bracket around it or it's zero. That means that you are under budget or at zero, which is okay. If you had one that was not bracketed, then you're over budget, and that's a budget violation. So that's the thing that you're looking for there. And as you can see, the state's not worried about an individual line item. They're only worried about in total for that particular fund. So one column that might need a little clarification. One has all the zeros in it, adjustments for qualifying budget credits. What that is that if you were to have a fund that's normally budgeted and you come along and halfway through the year, you got a grant or you got a huge reimbursement, but you hadn't budgeted to expend that, you can use that as a budget credit to expend it within that year of receipt rather than have to wait till next year before you can start spending. So it does allow for that in statutes to give you the opportunity to spend that money as it comes in. Not if it's tax money though. That's one caveat. You way over on taxes and you can't spend it that year, you have to wait till next year. Okay. General fund starts on page 19 and 20 and goes through 21, 22, 23, 24. to 25. On it, your cash receipts were up about $140,000. Not huge, but when compared to the fact it was $4 million, but still up. Your expenses, kind of interesting that almost all of the different departments pretty much stayed close to what they were the year before, except for the municipal court, which was down some, and that's probably to be expected, but we didn't have as much court time due to the COVID thing. But all the rest of them stayed pretty close. Recreation was, Parks and Recreation was up some. The thing that was partly trying to take advantage of the situation and trying to get some stuff remodeled and redone during that time that parks weren't open as much. And I think that's about it. Overall, your general fund went up about 72,000, as I mentioned before. Then we get into the other funds, and I wasn't really going to talk too much about them, except for Family Aquatic Center on pages 29 and 30. The only reason for bringing it up is obviously there's hardly any activity in terms of charges for services due to the COVID thing. And the only thing that kept that funding up was the fact that there was operating transfers in the $100,000. Expenditures were way down as well. So the fund didn't do too much this year, but that's to be expected under circumstances. Community center on the next page, 31-32. Same kind of thing. Things were down, not as much as they were on the other one, but again, they kept them up with the transfers over. Expenditures were down. And again, that's kind of be expected under the circumstances. After that, I get to page. Well, page 45 and 46, you have here's your capital projects, which we talked about the fact that the money's up on them. Not so much in the wastewater treatment plant construction, but that's one that's just kind of sitting there and using the money out. The equipment replacement wasn't up all that much, but capital projects on page 47 was. Using sales tax, which you're kind of like some of the other cities around you, city sales tax went up during the year because people stayed at home and we're doing things at home currently. Grants were up also, so that's two big reasons that funding was up from the year before. Then we get into the business funds, first one being your sewer service. And about the only thing I'm going to bring up here is that generally speaking, when you're looking at a business, one of the things you look at is have a reserve, basically, of funds in case things don't go well for a month or two or three. So one of the things they look at is if you have enough cash on hand to pay roughly 3 months worth of expenditures. Okay, so you do have that in the sewer service fund. About 3 months is about 190,000. We got 218 there. Under the water utility fund, though, you are a little under that one because it equates to about 490,000. You got 190 also in there. So it's down, but it's also still making some big transfers. 126,000 last year. Sewer line replacement was another one. It's way over what the 3-month category would be. Health and sanitation fund is about a little over halfway there. It equates to about 90,000 a year in that calculation. We have 51,000 in there. Then the water treatment plant is way over, and the wastewater treatment plant is over slightly. So that's where I am. Something else that we want to talk about.
Sid, is there anything you want to comment on any here?
Well, one thing with the utilities, we've had a lot of conversations with Harold for this year's budget, which would be for the 2021 audit. We moved all the operational stuff into one fund for the sewer. So right now, Fund 4 and Fund 6, or in 2020, Fund 4 and Fund 16 were kind of operational. One was more for the treatment plant, the other was more for the collection system. And we tried to move that all into one fund so that all the operational stuff was in one place. And then the idea is that we will consolidate all the kind of capital improvement stuff that we have available for sewer into one fund so that we can then plan out of that fund for all capital improvements. Water's already kind of set up that way. And I know we've had conversations about the water rates and reserve and that, so that all kind of fits into that water conversation.
And there again, I'm not proposing we should jump out with a big rate increase. All I'm saying, some kind of looking forward, maybe in terms of rates or, expenditures, just looking at it to maybe build up that little fund. I know you have the other thing, and so for a person to come in, what's the fund? We got money, what are you still charging the rates for? I know you run into that too, so that's a constant fight. But what they don't realize is that one big problem can chew that money up real quick and get that one.
Any council member have any questions? Thank you, Harold.
Thank you.
Good job, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the 2020 audit report?
I'll make a motion to accept the 2020 audit report from Evelyn Garrett.
I'll second. I'll second.
Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Shields.
Aye.
Okay. Move on to consider a letter of engagement for the 2021 audit. And I think it's not to exceed 15,400 plus out-of-pocket expenses. Is that correct?
I kept it the same as last year. So
Thank you. Okay. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to accept the 2020 audit report from Magdalene Getter in the amount of $15,400 plus out-of-pocket expenses.
I'll second. Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Shields.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now we need consider approving resolution number 2021-008, waiving certain provisions of GAAP. And that's something that Harold addressed at the beginning there. The county. Something we do every year. Do we have a motion for that resolution?
I move that we consider approving resolution number 2021-008, waiving certain provisions of GAAP.
I'll second.
Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Shields.
Aye.
Thank you, Harold. and Thank you for coming over.
Take care.
You too. Okay, move on to codification of ordinances for the city of Paola.
This is mayor, members of council. The city's current code can be reviewed in a bound paper copies or online. While that code is online, it's compiled in a series of PDFs that do not effectively facilitate researching topics. You can read it, but you can't just search for a keyword. And so this code is updated on an annual basis. City staff has been working with city code to codify the Paola municipal code into a new online format, which is searchable and will be updated as new ordinances are adopted. City code completed the migration of the city of Paola's existing codes to the new online format and modernized the chapter organization as well. There are a few technical clarifications to the existing code. We kind of talked about those at study session. I think there was still a reference to April elections for city council and some the terms for planning commission were one of those things. But otherwise, that code it was just migrated from what we had into the new format. Ordinance 3174 has been prepared for council's consideration and it formally approves and adopts the codification ordinances prepared by City Code Financial.
Who did our previous coding?
General code.
Is there any other questions? Do we have a motion for ordinance number 3174?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 3174 for the codification of ordinances for the city of Paola and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second. Smale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House. Shields.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Consider CUP for 604 North Silver.
Yes, ma'am. So 604 North Silver, the applicant is PIT LLC. I'm sure everyone is aware that they have been working to remodel the gas station. It's a very popular farm. So due to the fact that it's been vacant for a period longer than 6 months, it will require a CUP to operate. And they also want to do an unmanned U-Haul rental there as well. So both those uses would require a CUP, whether it was a gas station or U-Haul. But since it's 2 in 1, we just put it all under one CUP. At its meeting at May 19th, the Planning Commission held a public hearing. and only one member of the public was present, and it was the owner of the lot right behind at 111 West Baptist Drive, who actually spoke in favor of the CUP. After reviewing the conditions for the CUP and the LDO, the planning commission came up with the following 6 conditions. Lighting shall have all cutoff fixtures located to minimize impact on adjoining properties. All rental units shall be parked in accordance with the parking setbacks stated in Article 4. All rental units shall be parked on paved hard surface. Until the gas station is open for service, there shall be a maximum of 6 rental units parked in paved hard surface areas. Once the gas station is operational, 4 of the 6 spaces shall be reserved for customer parking, and the remaining 2 spaces will be available for the rental unit drop-offs. The applicant can pave additional hard surface to accommodate more rental spaces, but they would have to come and apply for a modification to the CUP before they could park those there. And then we always do that at any time. The city can revoke the conditional use permit if they don't abide by these regulations. The 2 main topics of discussion were how many rental units they should allow and to have it on hard surface, because initially the applicant wanted to put one on the grass behind the building or shove it in certain places, but they thought due to aesthetics and to be able to help with the flow that it should be restricted to hard surface and only allow 6 until it's open, and then only allow 2 after that, because according to LDO, the gas station required 4 parking for customers. So the options are to adopt the recommendations by accepting the ordinance, override the planning commission's recommendation by 2/3 majority vote, or return the recommendations to the planning commission. So the planning commission does recommend to approve the conditions.
And when that used to be a service station, did they remove the tanks from there? Will they have to put in new gas tanks?
I don't believe I'll put in new, but I do know that they have had companies there testing them and everything. So they're going through the proper channels to be sure that they're adequate.
Okay, so they're still there from when it was crane?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and it's going to be self-serve, or?
I don't know if they're gonna do self-serve or if they're gonna have people serve. They haven't gotten that far yet. But do you mean the U-Haul or the gas station part?
Gas station.
The gas station part. I'm not sure if it's gonna be self-serve. I believe it is.
And they're going to take where the 2 repair garages were and make that part of the store?
Yes, yes.
Part.
They're not gonna do any service of the U-Hauls or anything in those bays. They're remodeling it to make it all stored. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Once they're a gas station and say they have their drop-off place, what if they have 4 drop-offs over the weekend?
They said that they can, since it's all in line, they can make it so only certain spots are available. And if the inevitable does happen, it is dropped off. They reassured us that their main location is in Gardner and they can have it removed.
So the one that we used to have out here is closed, isn't it?
Yeah.
The old glass.
Yes, that's why they're looking for an alternate location.
It's the same. Thank you.
Is there a total number of spots they can have depending on how much they decide to hard surface?
I believe that'll probably be the planning commission when they go back. They will have to have that number approved by the planning commission.
Because they'll own all the way to that driveway. Is that right? And that's all grass right now.
Yes.
So they'll own all the way to where the skyline drive.
Yeah, they even own that driveway.
Oh, they do?
They do. The driveway's on the property, so they have quite wide property, but just not a whole lot of hard.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Well, how will that work? And if that says the skyline.
What? Oh,
The
no, they don't own the
Skyline
Skyline one. The Skyline one is separate. There's that drive that goes in behind where J&J used to be. They own that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not Skylines.
Yeah, well,
No,
that's why.
they own up to Skylines.
Yeah.
No.
That would be awkward.
Well, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that's J&J.
Yeah.
That's a long runoff on that service coming down that hill. That intersection down there, there's a lot of water anyway.
Hopefully back his extension will have that.
It's like I put some new storm drain out
Yeah.
there.
we
Yeah.
did. I don't know.
How much it'll help?
But,
How
you
much
know,
it'll
since
help.
you go the other way.
They did do some work with the storm drains.
Okay, as long as it's all good.
Yeah, because there's a lot of water runs down there, and then you put more hard surface. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, if not, do we have a motion or what?
I move to adopt ordinance number 3175 for the conditional use permit located at 604 North Silver Street and authorize the necessary signatures.
I'll second.
Smale?
Aye.
Upshaw?
Aye.
House? Shield?
Aye.
Thank you. Move on to the final plat for Hidden Meadows, phase 3.
So, this has been a long time coming for all of us. This is the third and final plat for Hidden Meadows Estates. The remaining 19 residential lots. Redbud will be extended into the Hidden Meadows, will end in a cul-de-sac. And then Roseberry Drive, which is the straightaway street behind Redbud Drive, will also be developed as those houses are developed as well. So it'll have more of a circular connecting, so it won't be hopefully so convoluted. We'll try to drive through there. Let's see here, CP Realty, the applicant, and we had Wilson and Company review the final plat with no major comments, and all the minor comments were already addressed. So you have the latest version to review. The planning commission did recommend approval at their May 19th meeting.
So all those lots along the Roseberry Drive are part of Hidden Meadows?
They're part of Indian Hills, but it was always the ultimate plan to connect them.
Okay,
So there are two subdivisions connected with that. But yeah, those were already planted.
Now, is there still only one entrance into Hidden Meadows?
Right now, yes, but with this, it'll be connected, so you will have one, but you can also get into Hidden Meadows. I'm sorry, just mean Indian Hills or Hidden Meadows. Both will be connected, so you'll be able to get through either one, through Indian Hills or Hidden Meadows. It'll be more of a circular and a straight route.
Does the same person that owns Hidden Meadows there on that Roseberry Drive?
Yes.
Those homes have developed very nicely out there. It's a nice area.
Yeah.
Nice homes in there. Are there any other questions? If not, do we have a motion to approve the final plat?
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat for Hidden Meadows Phase 3.
I'll second.
Smale?
Aye.
Upshaw?
Aye.
House? Shield?
Aye.
Okay, committee reports, do we have any committee reports from anyone?
That's good. A report, but we're not there yet.
Not yet.
I didn't want to give up my chance.
I'll let you go to this, but stand
I just wanted to remind council that tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the fire station is that joint workshop with the planning commission and council, and kind of going over the preliminary analysis from for the comp plan. And also, I sent out letters to all the candidates for the election, and we're going to have a candidate information session, which is just kind of a really quick overview of our governance in Paola, and a little bit about our finances and a little bit about our the work that we do. But it's something that I wanted to. I didn't get it done last year, but got it set up so we can do it this year, do it each year for the candidates.
And
So
when will that be?
that'll be Thursday, June 17th. And we'll just do that at City Hall, a large conference.
Do we need to be there?
Nobody,
I was like, I am not gonna look.
did you open your little packet?
Oh, this?
There was
Okay.
the two that are running, we hand delivered just to save a little bit
Okay.
postage. The rest will get everybody else will get a letter or that envelope in the mail that details that. And it includes the league has a candidate information, is it just candidate information that they provide, so we can make a copy of that, and put that there too, so. So nobody has to come, it's just an opportunity, so. Yep. Recreation Task Force, we kind of talked about that at Planning Commission, and I visited with Matt Meek from the school district. And I think he's going to talk with the school board at their meeting next Monday, which is 14th. Kind of thinking that we'd have two members from the U.S. From the school district, one being the superintendent, another person from that board, and then the city manager, and then a person from our council, and then try to get 2 to 3 people from the community at large to kind of start working through that, trying to figure out what we can do and how fast we can do it.
So we need a council member.
Yeah.
Trey, can you do that?
I think we're gonna,
Well, this is
assuming
very
that they're,
awkward.
assuming that they agree to it, then we'll proceed with this pattern. If not, we may have to circle the wagons.
Now, this is that task force you was talking about. How long do you anticipate this going on for?
Well, I mean, if we're trying to hit the September 1 deadline for getting this on the ballot, that would be the end date that task force would work, because we probably, if we put something on the ballot, then council and the school board both would want to step back because they don't want to be campaigning for it, in a sense of that they would be then onto the community to decide.
Okay. So is it something that could go on after that?
Well, I think that's as that task force works. I think the target is that September 1, but that's a pretty tight timeline as we look at trying to see how far, how much we want to get done. I think you can go out there and throw a question, but then you don't really have any information back behind the question. So if we can't get the September 1 deadline, it might go past that, but that's something that the council can continue to have a conversation about.
Okay. Last word, I know when we was talking about a long time ago about forming the, I know it's been several years ago. There would be 2 appointed, from the city and 2 from the school board, and then they would appoint the 5th one. And that's why I was wondering if this could maybe evolve into something like that, or that it'll just be done in September.
Yeah, I think you would want, because if you put that on the ballot, then we as the council the city can provide education about it, but we can't say vote yes or vote no. So it'd probably be something that task force, or at least the city portion of that and the school district portion of that takes a step back, and the community members would maybe go forward with that.
Are you okay with that till September? You're okay with, okay.
Okay.
If not, now's the time to.
So if it doesn't, if we don't get this done by September 1st, it wouldn't be on the November ballot.
It won't be on the November
And then
ballot.
we'll have to pay for the election.
Yes, if we choose to do it at a time other than the next
Which would be the following year.
election. Yeah.
So time's kind of a finesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Working through budget, I will say that with the budget training that we've had, I think it's going to be recommended that we do a hearing for that to exceed that revenue neutral rate. The main thing is we get an estimated valuation from the county here next week, I think it is. And so then that sets what our mill levy can be, because they'll take that valuation times what with the revenue that we have and come up with a mill that we can levy
Up to that.
up to that mill. Well, the valuation goes down, the final valuation goes down. We can't go above that mill, even though we still have some room for revenue that we would have captured. So we're going to have to probably just plan on that hearing. That's kind of been the recommendation that we've heard from the league and the budget office. I think all 3 of us have that consensus. So, but we'll work through that as we get into that in the coming weeks. Just a quick update on public, any more questions on that, I guess? Right.
What's the final date that we have to tell the county clerk that we want to?
July 20th is the final date that we have to notify the county clerk of that, and then October 1 then becomes our deadline for having the budget approved. So we'll remember that timeline, follow that one track, and what I'll do is try to clean that up and just take out the other, so it's a little easier to read. So
That's something like we talked about, that if we have that hearing, we can have the hearing and the budget hearing the same day. We just have to have that hearing first. And then,
anything else? I just was going to update on some projects that got started this week out at the dam. I think Kurt said they were on hole number 2 out of I believe 6. So, but they'll probably be there for about 2 weeks drilling. Baptiste Extension, Kurt said that they're planning on doing the first lift of asphalt on Thursday and possibly curbs on Friday. So that should come together pretty quick as long as the weather holds off for us. The Baptiste Drive Hedge Lane right turn lane project. They have, I think, Hedge Lane shut down. We're thinking 3 weeks for that.
3 weeks?
Mhm. Price of progress.
And just an update on the water and wastewater master plan. We did get that agreement finalized, and so we should be getting that formally kicked off here pretty quick. So, and then today, a group of us set through. We've had access to kind of a draft site for the GIS, and today we got into it. We're able to get some training on that. Sam came down and provided some training for us to help us learn how to navigate all the tools that we have. So I think that was a good time, and I think people are kind of getting excited about what they have access with now. So other than that, that's all I got.
Very excited about it. Okay.
Well, I think it was Brett that was talking, like just last night, they had a leak or something, and he was able to pull it up on his phone and could see where the line was and do that. So yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Is that it?
That's all.
That's it. Okay. Stephanie?
Oh, man.
Lee?
I can't remember if I told you last month, city court is open back up. If I told you that, I'm just reminding you, I guess.
So we have a full parking lot every Thursday.
Yeah, it's good to be back in person and you get more done when they're here. We haven't had, we're still trying to clean up the backlog. There were a lot of continuances. It was like pulling teeth, but so it's open.
Good. Eric? All right, I don't so. So that's the council, Dave? Okay,
Nothing.
Lee?
I emailed Kirk already, but I had a couple people comment how nice the cemetery looked for Memorial Day, even after all the rain. So
Thank you. Do you know, I was down there late and Mike Grable was down there practically going in the dark. He's very conscientious about taking good care of the cemetery.
well, I know it's quite a
I
job
appreciate
anyway,
that, yeah,
especially after all that rain.
yeah.
So
Your cemetery don't look good, that's the first thing you're gonna hear about.
Yep.
So I appreciate him doing that too. Leanne?
Yep.
And I don't have anything either, but we do have an executive session, and how long do you think this will be for?
Let's do 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yep. 30.
Yeah, and that also means that we need to move quickly too.
We're gonna be stressed out if we do it.
You guys gotta learn to talk faster. You only get 250 for 6 blocks. You gotta talk quick. That's the talk. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to recess the city council into executive session for 30 minutes pursuant to the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property. The purpose of this executive session is to discuss possible acquisition of real property, which shall include mayor, council, city attorney, city manager, and assistant city manager. The regular meeting shall convene in the municipal courtroom at 7.
I'll second.
Okay.
Hale.
Aye.
Upshaw.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
All right.
So the whole field game for 5:40.
Did you already read that?
Yeah, I see it. Emily knew it after the little speed read.
Did speed reading?
You got that? You know that. Yeah, so thank you.
swear that they.
Yep.
I know. Wow.
And that's like urban.
I like your idea.
You like my idea?
I did, I really did. That's good.
Issues.
Three birds with one stone.
I
Right,
could
Yeah.
probably get those. Because they're all condemnable.
Should we start that and?
Marilyn,
offer-
that's your idea? Was that?
Start the condemnation part. Isn't that how that works?
Oh,
yeah, we're still working at this. Okay.
So we need to officially come back, right? Okay,
Okay, we need to,
we need a motion to,
I'll make a motion to reconvene the council meeting.
I'll second.
Sorry, Smale,
aye,
Upshaw,
Aye.
House,
Aye.
Shield.
aye.
Okay, and now then we need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the council meeting.
Second,
Smale,
Aye.
Upshaw,
Aye.
House,
Aye.
Shield.
aye.
Thank you.